Hello, Commanders. Welcome to another day in Star Trek Fleet Command. I hope you're all doing well today. In today's video, I wanted to go over Fleet Commander Sloan and talk about the different things that I see as value. There's some things that are kind of standard, but we'll just kind of go through all of it. But before we do that, if you're new to the channel, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like and the subscribe button, that really helps us out. Also, if you want to be aware of future content, if you want to hit the bell notification as well, then that will let you know when I put out future videos. So let's go ahead now and let's hop in and talk about Fleet Commanders. Specifically Sloan. Personally, I've unlocked Kirk and Spock. I've been working on like Locutus and Seven through different events like Locutus during the Borg event. Hopefully they'll keep having that every single month. And Seven, I've been doing that during like incursions. So still working on those. And I'm really close, as you can see here, to, well, you can see I don't have my second spot yet. You get a third, I think, through a higher level syndicate than I am even closer. I think it's 35. I'd have to double check that. But I am currently building 39 at 40. I'll get another slot. So that would be great. So I'm still a little ways away from that. Maybe a week or maybe a little bit less. So anyways, I'm looking forward to that. So the more I can have slotted, the more helpful that will be, and I haven't decided to pay for it yet. So Sloan, let's talk about Sloan. I think there's a number of things that I think are great about him, and I'll trying to not have this video be too long and just try and really zone in on things I want to call out that I think are helpful. So I'll do it by each of these trees, I guess we'll call them. I think they're called. And for those who don't know, pull this up really quick here. So the ones that are always on, even if you don't have them assigned as your current fleet commander, you'll have that skill if it's kind of that yellow or gold border looking thing. For example, this 1, 2, we've got this one right here. Hidden Cache is one of them. So all these yellow looking ones. And then you're going to have the hexagon ones. They have to be assigned as your current fleet commander. So this first one right here, like Piercing Intelligence, these top two ones, a Mechanic, and this first top left one, an Escapist. So they have to be assigned. And then these ones that have the border around them that kind of have these circles, those you select which one of those you want to have active. Okay, I think there's a time down or a cool down between changing them. Can't remember what it is. But let's go through. So this one we have to have slotted all piercing stats. So it's more piercing stats, and that's, I mean, significant percentage, but it's more piercing stats. So there's a lot of that in the game. This one you have to have selected isolytic intel, isolytic damage for all ships. So without even officers, I think that's pretty significant. It starts out kind of low with just the first couple of levels, but as you get higher up, if you can max it, you're 8-10%. That's pretty significant when you add that to officers like Enterprise Data, Picard, Janeway, for example. You could have some pretty big boost to your isolate damage, which can be significant. This one here, it's always active, increases max cargo. So, if you're into the cargo thing, I guess, but there's a lot of research for that. This third row is selected, so you have to choose one of these. So we've got increased base critical chance against non-armada hostiles. So for your farming of hostiles and reputation, that could be helpful. Base critical chance against armadas. So this is going to be solo as well as group armadas. And then there's one here just for group armadas. So he could be a good officer as far as armada goes for the critical chances, as you include that part of your build of your critical build for your ships. This one is also selected, reduces the number of rounds needed to charge weapons while station rating. So there's ROM, who increases your shots per round, and then there's a new prime that reduces that effect. And so this will kind of offset that a little bit, I guess. So I'll have to see how that works, but that could significantly help you raid with bases. So I've seen a number of things in Sloan that helps with base raiding. So for incursion time, this could be pretty helpful. Combat Scavenger, and for those who don't remember, the combat Scavenger ability is specific to the amalgam, so it will increase how much you're able to pull as you're using your amalgam. So this will be interesting to see how this works, because it's going to add a pretty good percentage there, up to 50%. So we'll have to just kind of see how that works with the percentage of the amalgam there. These 50s are out of my reach, but maybe some of you have paid and you have a higher level building than I do. But hostile loot for all ships, that's really of interest to me. So you can farm parts and other things. Isolate defense, so that will be helpful for you if you are doing like PvP, that kind of thing. I don't know, and maybe someone can correct me, but I don't know that I've seen too many hostiles or armadas that do isolated damage to you. So that's something I'd have to look into. Okay, mechanic, base mitigation. Okay, there's some mitigation stats. Efficiency, cost efficiency for leveling up your forbidden tech, which can be significant, and you might be able to have Sloan to help you compete more in those upgrade events. For tearing up, cost efficiencies for forbidden tech. Let's see here. Base repair speeds, using less speed ups. That's interesting. I have so many speed ups that's not concerned, but maybe as you get higher up in levels, it will be more impactful. Base repair cost efficiency, that's interesting to me. My G5 ship, let's see, my Vorcha is tier 4 and it's 3 billion titanium to repair that thing. So this is pretty interesting to me, and mine's only tier 4. So I imagine the cost only goes up from there. So as you're entering into the G5 area and above, I imagine that this is very would be of interest to any player in that area or getting close to it. Okay, let's look at this always on Black Ops shield. Extra shield hit points, that's good to keep your shields up. If you keep your shields up, you're gonna have less go to the hull, so that's cool. This one here, base loot from Dominion Solo Armadas. For me, this is huge because right now I'm at a point where it is super frustrating to do Dominion Solos because, well, there's, first off, there's so many things in the game right now that take your time. But also when you're doing, for example, if you do a Borg solo armada, as soon as you knock it out and start another one, it respawns. But that's not always the case. If you do a lot of the Dominion solos, they start disappearing pretty quickly. And then you have to hit like if you're doing uncommon, for example, you have to hit the rares and the epics to get the uncommons to spawn again. And it's really annoying. So for that reason, plus being able to do this kind of more efficiently, so you don't have to maybe launch as much and take as much time, that's huge to me. So I'm pretty interested in that. Let's see, Rhodium particles, that's for research, so that's interesting. These 50s, let's see, cost efficiency for cosmic particles, that's a 50 plus thing, so that's why it's 50, so that makes sense to me. Hull hit points for all ships, that's cool. I'm almost to Syndicate level 30 where I will get from my things from the generators. Is it the Parstill generators? But anyways, more hull hit points is always helpful. So too bad that's 50, and I have no clue when I'm going to be able to get to that, but it's there. So you know. Escapist, let's see here. Base protected cargo for all ships. That's could be interesting for the miners out there. The FKR reputation, that's always huge because we're trying to push to higher and higher levels of faction lock. And you need higher rep in order to obviously be able to get certain ships in your faction stores. So that is pretty significant. And the fact that you don't need to have him assigned. So that's kind of cool. Here you have to select, let's see, so you've got the chance of hiding. So this is cloaking, hiding while cloaked. Chance of seeing cloaked enemies, Reduces opponents' all base mitigation stats while cloaked. So for those who use cloaking, you'll have to decide which one of those is of most value to you. This next one is you pick the ship type for mitigation, I think. Yeah. So for explorers, increases all base mitigation stats. So for this, and that's battleships and mitigation stats for interceptors. So you probably want to choose a ship that you primarily use, and you of course can rotate that. Or you might choose it if you have a weaker ship type in your group armadas, for example, so that it lasts longer, takes less hull damage, and lasts longer in battle. This one's pretty interesting. Increases base weapon damage for all ships, and it's not something that you have to, what do you call it? You don't have to have them assigned, so it's always on. Trying to look for the right word there. And getting that up, it's a pretty good jump in weapon damage. So I'm actually pretty excited to see that. Base warp speed for all ships. So he's got a lot of different things that I think are of interest that will help various type of players. I think he's definitely worth going for, and he will have a definite impact in your gameplay. It just depends on what exactly you're kind of looking for. But I like the armada, the increase to damage, the armadas, the forbidden tech, the Dominion solos. I mean, there's a lot of great benefits to him personally, and I don't necessarily advocate this for everyone because everyone's different and they have a different budget, but I personally bought the $20 seasonal pass so I can unlock him earlier, but you know, that's not necessarily for everyone. So you just have to see if that's something of worth it to you. And I think probably most people know, but just really quickly, I want to highlight this in the video, that this is one reason why you will want to work on your Section 31 faction store. And even if you're not doing that $20 pass, I would highly recommend that you at least do what you can to get your daily in, to get your rep up, and to start collecting Sloan. I know, here's the sticky part, I'm probably going to get comments about, or you're probably going to be thinking at least, even if you don't comment, and that is that the wave defense suck. I'm not going to sugarcoat it all. They're tough. My biggest complaint, just trying to think about everyone, is the only way for you to really get past, I would say, around round 5 or 6 is to have bigger players in your wave defense. And the bigger players don't want to be with the smaller players because they know the only way they're going to be able to get the max credits is by having 55 plus ships, or 55 plus op level players, I should say, in their group, fully active, knowing what they're doing. And so what ends up happening, because there's no penaltying, is people will hop into those armadas as soon as they see a level 30 or 40 level player, they'll hop out. So I know it's super frustrating. As my ops level, I usually don't get too many people that just abandon it because I show up. But I know it's super frustrating for everyone else. So it's coming down to, that's not so much a, I'm just going on a rant here, and I'm sorry, but it's super frustrating to me. But, you know, that means that you're going to have to, instead of it being like a galaxy-wide, yay, let's all come together, it's talk to your alliance and do the best you can. Hopefully they'll make some changes, and hopefully as you're able to progress through this faction, that you'll be able to get some of the favors that will make the armadas easier, as it gives you more boost to your ship and to make it more effective that way. But do the best you can, because I really encourage you that this faction is fantastic. I did put a video out about it, but Sloan is a fantastic fleet commander, and I think he will really help a lot of your gameplay. But once again, it's something you're going to have to work towards. My first priority that I would recommend to everyone is getting that, and I mentioned this in another video, so I'm just repeating myself, but I can't help it. That Section 31 reputation, I would double pull that every day if you can. And then I would, if you have extra credits, grab them for Sloan and slowly unlock him. I think he's going to be a great addition to your game. I can't say that enough. So have a look at him. Leave your comments in the down below in the comments section. Let me know what you think. Are there things that I've missed or things that you really find of value? And if you feel like you want to leave some sections about the Section 31 or the wave defense, feel free to leave those down below as well. Last thing I'll mention in the video here is don't forget that I've also put a link below for my Discord. Feel free to join that. We will be doing monthly giveaways for the Battle Pass. And as the goal is to get this channel to have 1,000 subscribers, I think once we do that, I'll be able to have more flexibility as far as doing more than just the one Battle Pass giveaway per month. So if you found this information helpful, please share it with your alliance, and and hopefully we can get this channel to grow so that I can do more. So anyways, thanks so much, and I look forward to you in the next video.